Let me once again turn to one of our top stories, the diplomatic spat between India and Canada. Chidanand Rajghatta is the foreign editor and U.S. bureau chief of Times of India. Let's try this again, Chidanand. And of course, all of this started with Canada accusing India of being behind the killing of a Sikh leader on Canadian soil. Let me start my question again, before we got cut off. I would imagine Canada has some serious evidence here before leveling this type of allegation that would be such a detriment to relations between the two countries.
That's right, but the Indian government says that they have Canada has not presented any evidence, and the language that Prime Minister Trudeau used in going public with this allegation was kind of sketchy. It was hedge language. He said there are credible allegations. I mean, what is a credible allegation? You either have credible evidence or no. And then he said there are potential links of in this assassination to agents of the Indian government. So it really didn't seem very convincing the way he went public. And the reading now is that he was playing to the domestic gallery. He needs the support of Sikh. The Khalistani constituency to stay in power. His government is supported by a Sikh constituency. And, typically in such cases, India and Canada are not exactly enemies or rivals in any sense of the word. These are issues that are taken up in the private domain. They are seldom made public, least of all such a grave allegation. And if he did, he should have gone, if he did go public, he should have presented a more convincing case. It doesn't appear so. He had his chance when he was in India, and the Indians say that, no, he did not present any credible evidence.
So what are the wider implications here? Obviously, politically, also economically.
Absolutely. I mean, India and Canada are good, thriving trade partners. I mean, it's not a gigantic trade partnership like, say, India and U.S. or U.S. and China. But it's significant, it's growing, and more than that, they have very good people-to-people ties. A large number of Indians, come to Canada. In fact, Canada is now the second most favored destination for Indian students after the United States. A huge number of Indian students in Canada. And moreover, historical ties. Indians have been coming to Canada for more than 125 years. So yeah, this is a huge setback, and it really shouldn't have gone in this direction. This could have been handled more delicately, and I think it kind of has spun out of control right now because there is a retaliatory action from India in expelling a Canadian diplomat. The Canadians went public by saying they're expelling an Indian diplomat who was, undercover for the Indian spy agency, and that's like painting him big, putting him in the crosshairs.
So does this, Chidanand, does this potentially cause other countries that have a relationship with both to be in a sort of a uncomfortable position, if you will?
To an extent, yes. I mean, for instance, the United States, itself is having to, sort of thread the needle here, walk a very fine line. Because India is important to the United States and its efforts to, get it as a counterweight to China. So there are a lot of, global implications for this. Not to speak of, the issue of, terrorism and sovereignty. This whole case actually predates the assassination of Mr. Nijjar, who was a well-known Khalistani extremist. The Indians regarded him as a terrorist. He was wanted in India. There were lookouts and rewards announced for him. And his whole case is, dubious because there's questions how he became a Canadian citizen when he was already a wanted person in India, and why did the Canadians, give him citizenship? He came to Canada on a false passport, evidently, and he had been twice rejected Canadian citizenship. The Indian side has long complained that Canada has been a fertile ground for Khalistani extremists and separatists who practice and preach violence. There are videos online of a number of these people, including Mr. Nijjar, wielding weapons, they're practicing with sophisticated weapons. So it does not, stand to Canada's good either that these people be encouraged in any way or form. So yes, there are wider implications here. There are wider implications about sovereignty and separatist movement. I mean, Canada itself has a separatist movement in Quebec. So this has wide implications, and hopefully the two sides will actually dial down and talk about this instead of going public and elevating the dispute.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Chidanand Rajghatta, thank you.